Cosmic Professional Gladiator. Author. I eat tomatoes. Subscribe to the Moon Policy YouTube channel. Translator. Moon Policy Editor. Moon Policy. Chapter 5. Master Lu Hai. In a towering skyscraper in Penghai City, Cheng Zihao lay on a gaming chair, wearing a pair of virtual glasses. Suddenly, a knock sounded on the office door. "Come in." Cheng Zihao switched his virtual glasses to reality mode and looked at the middle-aged man walking in. After the middle-aged man came in, he closed the door and said in a fawning tone, "Boss, Cosmos Center in Binhai City has decided to fire Xu Jingming. I used a different account to contact Xu Jingming, but he blocked me again." "How decisive," said the fair-skinned Cheng Zihao with a laugh. "Li Miao Miao blocked me, and Xu Jingming blocked us. The two of them are quite interesting. Is this what they mean by, love is thicker than water? Ha ha ha. How interesting. Oh right, where's Li Yuanping? He's Li Miao Miao's uncle." Li Yuanping personally visited Li Miao Miao's parents, but her parents showed clear approval of Xu Jingming as a son-in-law and chased him out, the middle-aged man said. "How useless." Cheng Zihao frowned slightly. Li Miao Miao is really different from other singers. Does she not care about fame and fortune? She has already changed live streaming platforms. Her most recent live stream was done on Microcosm, the middle-aged man stated helplessly. Besides, she has never signed a long-term contract with our platform. She only broadcasts once a month and has never cared about earning money from live streaming. She's pretty chill. "Boss, what do we do next? Li Miao Miao and Xu Jingming are public figures, and they have such a tough attitude." "Forget it. There are many things in the world that I like, and I can't have them all." Cheng Zihao shook his head. "Let's put an end to Li Miao Miao's matter for the time being, but continue paying attention to her. People will change. I don't believe that she will always disregard fame and fortune." "Yes." The middle-aged man nodded and smiled. "She might be young, and she might not care about fame and fortune in her early 20s, but in a few years, she might realize the importance of fame and fortune after being beaten down by society. I might not like her if she becomes snobbish in a few years," Cheng Zihao said calmly. "You may leave." "Yes, sir." The middle-aged man left respectfully. Cheng Zihao switched his virtual glasses to immersion mode. To him, Li Miao Miao was just a mere ripple in his life. He had never taken her seriously. In immersion mode, a huge projection of stock market charts appeared. The capital market was what he really cared about. Why did Tiger Shark's share price drop by 8% today? I didn't hear of any massive short positions. Cheng Zihao found it incomprehensible since it was rare for Tiger Shark Group's shares to plummet. Dad ordered me not to have any of my investments related to Tiger Shark Group as a way of risk diversification. I'll just let Dad worry about it. Cheng Zihao didn't think too much about it. The family's largest asset was 8.2% of the Tiger Shark Group's shares, so he was naturally concerned. But according to the family rules, his personal assets had nothing to do with the Tiger Shark Group. As for the Tiger Shark Group's shares plummeting, his father, Cheng Liwei, had helmed the company for over 3 decades. Cheng Zihao trusted his father's abilities. ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Oriental-styled villa in Beijing, other than a butler robot. This tall and stout old man sat at the dining table, eating a few cloves of garlic and beef in large mouthfuls. He also ate a few mouthfuls of the cooked vegetables. He was a legendary figure in the world's martial arts. Circle. Tiger. Lu Hai. Lu Hai participated in the first World Martial Arts Tournament at the age of 45 and competed with experts from all over the world. It had to be known that only those ranked in the world's top 32 were qualified to participate. Most of the participants were in their 30s, so Lu Hai was definitely considered an older contestant. He had entered the tournament 5 times in a row, and he stood on the podium every single time. He even became world champion in the 5th year. He had been the head coach of the Chinese national team for 20 years. Of the legendary ones, 2 martial arts experts in China had matched him in the past 30 years. In terms of seniority, he was the oldest. Most of the top professional gladiators in China had to call him master. He was in his 70s this year, but Lu Hai still spent half a year in seclusion every year and did tough training. For example, he ate 5 meals a day, mainly beef with vegetables as supplements. He needed to do so since eating too little wasn't enough to provide him the energy for his training intensity. Lu Hai had a pair of eyes that emitted a domineering aura like a tiger's. The domineering aura was incredible. It was a powerful field brought about by his powerful physique. He stood at 1.92 meters tall and weighed 110 kilograms. His body and technique had been honed to an astonishing level, judging from how he had reached the podium without suffering any injuries for 5 consecutive years during the World Martial Arts Tournament's early days, when the rules were still in their nascent stages. What is this? Lu Hai looked at the information on the light screen in front of him and widened his eyes. This son of a bitch is bullying my disciple. Fang Xinglong, Lu Hai shouted. An image of Fang Xinglong appeared in the projection, and Fang Xinglong said respectfully, "Master, I thought about it the entire night yesterday and couldn't think of any solutions, so I decided to inform you about it." Junior brother joined the provincial team in high school. He has lived like an ascetic monk for so many years, his mind is focused on martial arts. Who would have thought that Cheng Zihao would bully him? Junior brother refused to say anything in front of me. I've asked around, and it seems to be related to junior brother's girlfriend. Love is such an annoying matter. Many young people have ruined their future because of love. Lu Hai shook his head. He was in his 70s and still confined himself for half a year every year. He didn't meet anyone. Love and society would only affect the speed of his attacks. Master, do you have a way to help junior brother? Fang Xinglong asked. He knew that his master had a lot of connections. It's a large commercial corporation. What can I do? I'll think about it. You don't have to worry about this matter, Lu Hai said. All right, master, I'll heed your instructions, Fang Xinglong replied immediately. The projection vanished. Lu Hai sat there and thought as he chewed on the cooked beef. He felt that the beef in his mouth had lost its taste. Jingming's physique is still too weak. If he had trained his physique for 3 more years before entering the World Martial Arts Tournament, he wouldn't have broken his leg and ruined his future. Lu Hai sighed to himself. His talent in spearmanship is excellent, but he raised his world ranking too quickly. Entering the World Martial Arts Tournament too early only brought him harm. He was still too young then, reaching the highest echelons at the World Martial Arts Tournament while only 20. With his talent, if he had entered the World Martial Arts Tournament at 23 or 24 years of age, he would have had a chance of becoming world champion. How glorious would that be? Would he be forced into his current predicament? Lu Hai thought. All he knew was martial arts, so it wasn't easy for him to help his disciple either. Old Guo, Lu Hai greeted. A projection condensed in front of him, and a figure appeared on it. It was a white-haired elder sitting in front of a desk. Brother Hai, what's the matter? The white-haired old man also had a high status, but he was still very respectful to Lu Hai, who was 3 years younger than him. He even called Lu Hai, Brother Hai. The two had been friends for decades. Old Guo, about that list of people to receive the government's patronage. Lu Hai put down the beef. I have the freedom to recommend one person to that list, right? I thought about it and plan on recommending Xu Jingming. Xu Jingming. The white-haired elder thought for a moment and said, you have the right to recommend, but it needs to be reviewed eventually. There are only 20 people on the list. Martial arts masters like yourself take up 12 spots, and the other martial arts schools take up 5. There are only 3 spots left. If Xu Jingming wants to compete for those 3 spots, to be honest, his CV is a little lacking. Jingming is only 29 this year, and he has great potential. Moreover, he made it into the top 8 of the World Martial Arts Tournament despite having a seriously injured leg. If not for the leg injury, he would have become world champion, Lu Hai said. We are well aware of what you just said, but I have to tell you that his chances of competing for the 3 spots are relatively slim. Are you sure you want to recommend him? Asked the elder. Most of my best disciples have gone on to the podium and have obtained the title of martial arts master, only Jingming and Xiaodong regretfully didn't make it. Xiaodong has already given up on martial arts, but Jingming has never given up despite all these years. His character has been the same for years, he's worth grooming. In that case, quickly write a detailed recommendation letter, the sooner, the better. It's best if you send it to me today so that I can send it to the selection committee, said the white-haired elder. As for whether it succeeds, it will still have to go through the higher-ups, final review. Okay. Lu Hai nodded. When the projection disappeared, Lu Hai continued chewing on his beef and thought to himself. There are a total of 12 people in China who stood on the podium at the World Martial Arts Tournament after all these years. Of these 12, I'm the oldest, and there's also a disabled person. There are a few who are out of shape, and one even has cancer. However, these 12 people are all on that patronage list. Can the disabled, cancer-stricken, and elderly be groomed? The higher-ups say that it's great news, but they didn't disclose the details. I wonder what great news it is, Lu Hai thought. If Jingming can enter the list, it can be considered a chance. Lu Hai's idea was very simple. So his disciple had encountered trouble. If his disciple became stronger, his troubles would vanish. It might even become the other party's troubles then. Chapter 6. Yang Qingshuo 1. Xu Jingming didn't know that his master, Lu Hai, had recommended him to the list. He had handed over his job at the gym. Once the Jiangnan provincial team's training was over, he could return to his hometown, Mingyu City. In the afternoon, Xu Jingming was training in a special room at the gym. He held a solid steel rod that had a diameter of 4 centimeters and a length of 3.2 meters with both hands. The rod's head swung from time and time again, completing a curved trajectory up, down, left, right. The trajectories that the rod drew were only a part of a circle. This steel rod was a rod with a solid stainless steel core commonly used in industrial applications. It weighed 32 kilograms. It was very unsuitable for combat, but it was suitable for strength training and force delivery of the entire body. Beep, beep, beep. Xu Jingming put down the steel rod and picked up a towel to wipe his sweat. He looked at the name on the screen and said, "White, answer the video call." A projection appeared in midair. It was a young man. "Shuo." Xu Jingming smiled happily. "What a rare occasion for you to call me." The young man in front of him was Yang Qingshuo, Xu Jingming's best friend. They attended the same university and were both on the school's martial arts team. Teammates back then were arranged to be in the same dormitory, and he and Yang Qingshuo shared the same bunk bed. In his freshman year, Xu Jingming became the champion of the National University Martial Arts Tournament, and Yang Qingshuo came in 7th. Xu Jingming joined the national team in his freshman year, and Yang Qingshuo was selected to join the national team in his sophomore year. The friends who shared a bunk bed joined the national team together and stayed with the national team for several years. They practiced martial arts together every day and lived in the same dorm room, so it was easy to imagine their close relationship. They weren't biological brothers, but they were closer than biological brothers. "Can't I just call?" Yang Qingshuo smiled bashfully. Yang Qingshuo was a very reserved and shy person. Those who were familiar with him knew this very well. "Shuo, you seem to have put on quite a bit of weight." Xu Jingming was surprised. Yang Qingshuo used to be very handsome and thin, but he had put on a lot of weight and looked a little chubby. The twinkle in his eyes also wasn't as sharp as before. "My child will be attending primary school this year. It's normal for me to put on weight," Yang Qingshuo said. "Right, your child is already capable of doing chores, but I'm not married yet. As for you, you registered your marriage the moment you reached legal age." How awkward was it for the bunch of us old friends? Xu Jingming teased. Who would have thought that the youngest and shyest of the national team, Yang Qingshuo, would be the first to get married? Yang Qingshuo smiled and didn't say anything. "Why did you call me today?" Xu Jingming asked with a smile. Many of his good friends from university and the national team had separated and were scattered all over the country, but it was very normal to call each other once a year or two. "Yes, there's something." Yang Qingshuo hesitated for a moment and said, "Brother Xu, something cropped up, and I need to borrow some money." "Borrow money? Question mark. Xu Jingming felt a knot in his heart. He didn't care about the money, he was worried about Shuo. Shuo used to be the national team's linchpin, and he joined the sports bureau in Jibei province after his retirement. His income is quite good too. Why would he be forced to borrow money? Did something happen? Xu Jingming asked. "My mother is in the hospital, and the prescription drugs that aren't covered by insurance cost quite a lot," Yang Qingshuo said. "How much do you need?" Xu Jingming asked. "1 million, Yang Qingshuo said. "It might take me a year to pay you back." Xu Jingming nodded. Okay, I'll transfer to you right away. He began thinking about it. Shuo was also the national team's linchpin back then and had entered the World Martial Arts Tournament once. Although he was eliminated in the preliminaries, the prize money he received was only the most basic, 1 million, and the appearance fee for the tournament wasn't high. He could save up a few million after a few years of hard work. For him to borrow money from me means that he is in trouble. Xu Jingming was mentally prepared to not have the money be returned when lending money to others. He wouldn't be so generous if normal friends wanted to borrow money from him, but Yang Qingshuo was his best friend since childhood. Xu Jingming tapped the projection screen as he spoke and entered his finances platform. His stocks, insurance, savings, everything was listed clearly, and he quickly finished the transfer. Has it reached you? Xu Jingming asked. Got it. Yang Qingshuo was thrilled when he received the money. It was tortuous to be short of money. Brother Xu, thanks. Shuo, I'll be going on a business trip to the capital today. I'll find you when I pass by Jinmen, Xu Jingming said. Give me your address, I'll look for you. Today, Yang Qingshuo was surprised. When are you arriving? Probably around 5, Xu Jingming said after calculating the time. I'll still be at work. I'll give you the company's address. Yang Qingshuo gave him an address. Xu Jingming saw the address, Katie Gym, and was a little surprised. You left Jibei Sports Bureau. Yeah, I left. Yang Qingshuo nodded. Brother Xu, I have class. We'll talk later. Alright, let's have a good chat when we meet, Xu Jingming said. He waved his hand gently, and the projection in front of him turned into specks of light that disappeared. Xu Jingming's smile disappeared as he stood there silently. Shuo doesn't look right. He even left the sports bureau and went to a gym. It's not even a famous gym. He was once the national team's linchpin, yet he's at a gym. They were professional gladiators. How much of what they had learned in their careers be utilized at a gym? I'll see what's up at Jinmen. Xu Jingming immediately bought a high-speed rail ticket. The high-speed rail traveled at speeds of up to 600 kilometers per hour, so he could arrive in Jinmen in 2 hours. He had lied about going on a business trip to Beijing. Xu Jingming was worried about his good friend, so he specially made a trip to Jinmen to meet Yang Qingshuo. By hailing a ride online that was dispatched by an AI system, he arrived at the high-speed rail station in 15 minutes. Soon, Xu Jingming took the high-speed rail and went straight to Jinmen City in the north. At 4:53 p.m., he arrived at the entrance of Katie Gym in Jinmen City. I'm here. Xu Jingming looked up at the gym, which occupied a rather large area, and walked in. The female staff at the front desk smiled and said, Welcome. My surname is Xu. I'm looking for Yang Qingshuo, Xu Jingming said. I've made an appointment with him. Oh, you're looking for Coach Yang. Please have a seat over here. The female staff member at the front desk was very enthusiastic. She brought Xu Jingming to the reception area before pouring him a glass of water. At this moment, on the 3rd floor of Katie Gym, Yang Qingshuo was giving a class to a group of female members. The female members were panting after completing the boxing routine. Alright, let's take a 2-minute break, Yang Qingshuo said. Coach Yang, I heard you participated in the World Martial Arts Tournament. A female member asked curiously. They had applied for the class because of his participation in the World Martial Arts Tournament. I heard that martial arts competitions are divided into C Division, B Division, A Division, and the most prestigious World Martial Arts Tournament. Only those ranked in the top 32 are qualified to participate in the World Martial Arts Tournament. Every year, only the world's 32 strongest martial artists are allowed to participate. Coach Yang, have you participated? The female members were very curious. I've participated in the 26th World Martial Arts Tournament, Yang Qingshuo nodded and said with a smile. This was also now the highlight of his resume when finding a job. Wow, Coach Yang, can you teach us self-defense? That's right, Coach Yang. We weak women are too weak to resist against those men who are up to no good. Do you have any defensive techniques that can be easily learned and used against strong men? The female members asked. Easily learned. A weak woman can use it to handle a strong man's attacks. Yang Qingshuo thought for a moment and smiled. Alright, I'll teach you a more practical move. The female members immediately listened carefully. Follow my instructions. Retract one leg and stand on one leg, Yang Qingshuo said. All the female members stood on one leg, and they did this with verve. They only occasionally lost their balance and firmly landed their other foot. Jump while standing on one leg, Yang Qingshuo said as he demonstrated a light single-leg jump. The female members wore soft-heeled gym shoes and jumped easily on one foot. Isn't it simple? Yang Qingshuo asked. I jump rope 1,000 times a day. Of course, it's simple to do a single-leg jump. The female members were very relaxed, including the slightly obese female members. Who couldn't jump a few times? Your weight is generally around 50 kilograms, Yang Qingshuo said. I'm far from 50 kilograms, said a fat woman with a laugh. In other words, everyone's single-leg strength can easily deliver more than 50 kilograms of force, and you can even jump, Yang Qingshuo said. Jumping up with one leg can easily exert a force of 100 kilograms. The female members nodded. Now, raise your leg and stomp, Yang Qingshuo said. Jump with one leg and stomp down. Raise your leg and stomp forward. It's the same muscle strength as stomping on the ground. Yang Qingshuo instructed. Exerting strength that's the same as kicking the ground. The female members raised their legs and kicked the sandbag in front of them. With a bang, the sandbag shook. All the female members were extremely surprised. My fists and wrists hurt from hitting this sandbag previously. My feet hurt from kicking the sandbag as well, and it didn't even budge. I managed to move it this time. Kicking the sandbag like I'm kicking the ground. There's so much strength in it. For the first time, the female members found kicking the sandbag very easy and quite powerful. This is called a straight kick. You don't have to practice much a day, just 20 times. After a month, your strength will flow smoothly. Even for women, it's easy to deliver 100 to 150 kilograms of force with one foot, Yang Qingshuo said. But this isn't something I want to teach. Watch carefully. When you lift your leg, don't use the entire bottom of your feet. Use the front of your foot, near your toes. Yang Qingshuo casually kicked out, and his front foot stabbed into the sandbag like a steel rod. The sandbag produced a deep, dull sound. If you wear sports shoes or high heels, you can use the tip of your foot to exert at least 100 to 150 kilograms of force. The penetrative force is much stronger when transmitted using the tip of your foot, Yang Qingshuo said. I understand. With the same strength, the pressure will be greater when the area of contact is small, a female member said. Compared to the entire foot, the pressure from the tip of the foot might be 10 times greater. Yes, the pressure is much higher. Yang Qingshuo smiled and said, this move has the profundity of poking foot traditional martial arts. Although your feet aren't as hard as those of professional gladiators, everyone usually wears shoes that have soles that are harder than the feet of professional gladiators. At least 100 to 150 kilograms of force when used against someone, just striking the other party's thigh will leave them in excruciating pain. If I kick a man's groin, a female member's eyes lit up. Yang Qingshuo immediately said, do this for self-defense only, when you are in real danger. This isn't some ordinary groin-kicking kick. Even if it doesn't land at the vital spot, an ordinary man won't even be able to withstand it when struck in the abdomen. This was, in fact, a simplified version of poking foot. Human legs walk every day. Ordinary people can walk for a few hours, but nobody in the world strolls upside down with their hands for hours, Yang Qingshuo said. The strength of a person's leg is naturally greater than the strength of their arms. Even if it's a woman, her legs can match the strength of a strongman's arm. Can I match the strength of those strongmen's arms? They have arms that are thicker than my thighs, a female member said. You can stand on one leg for a few minutes and can even jump, Yang Qingshuo said. How many of those strongmen can carry more than 50 kilograms with one hand for a few minutes? Don't underestimate the strength of your legs. Strongmen may have thick arms, but in terms of muscle efficiency, they can't compare to the muscles of female thighs, Yang Qingshuo said confidently. He was a professional martial artist, so he knew the potential of one's leg muscles. Humans were bipedal animals, so their legs were innately much stronger than their arms. The strength that women could exert with their legs could easily deal with untrained men. Coach Yang, a customer with the surname Xu is looking for you, a gym staff member shouted. Yang Qingshuo immediately understood that Xu Jingming had arrived.